I said it before, multiple times, that God will not tell you everything that's ahead of you. Why? Because if He would tell you everything that's ahead of you, why would you need faith? Why would you develop? Think about it this way. If you are in college and you're learning to become a doctor, a medical professional, no. That means that you are learning the data and there will be tests to train you to manage the data. Because it's impossible for you to remember everything exactly, especially if it's a lot. So the test is not that much about the answers, it's about motivating you to be involved in the data. Maybe you're not learning to become a medical professional, maybe it's to get into economics, or you want to become a sociologist. The data, you must internalize the data. And the test is to put pressure on you so you would hold on to the data and begin to operate in the data. So that's how you become a sociologist, how you become a mathematician, it's how you become a doctor. You get what I'm saying here? So if they would just tell you everything from the start, it wouldn't serve any purpose because you wouldn't develop at all. So God will not tell you everything. And here's another thing I want to point out to you. God will not tell you everything because it wouldn't benefit you knowing everything. It can be that someone was still living with her parents, using a female example now, and she had a very good connection with her father. After she turned 22, the contact with the father decreased. She met her husband, and after she met her husband, she began to realize that one of my father doesn't add up. He doesn't add up at all. And then she began to remember things from her childhood that her father used to say that were quite verbally abusive also. And she then realized, hold on a minute, how could I have ever had such a close bond with this man while he's so depraved in his head? So you figure out that your father is a reprobate. Now he has been a reprobate since you were 8 years old. Prior to you being 8 years old, he wasn't a reprobate yet, he became a reprobate. Now, would it have benefited you if the Most High told you at age 15, when you became born again, that your father is a reprobate? You were still living under his roof, you still had to deal with him, and you just became born again. It's for you to be informed that he's a reprobate. It would have overwhelmed you. So the Lord kept it hidden from you until you were married and living with your husband, and now you were able to process the data much more effectively. And then you realize, oh, he's a reprobate. So now you are able to deal with him in a healthy manner. If you were 15 and you learned he's a reprobate, you would have thought, you know what, you'd get away from him because he's a reprobate, and you would have been right, but it would have become a disaster for you to know that back then. Even though it was something quite relevant, the Lord kept it hidden from you. Look, when God decides to hide something from you, it is because it doesn't serve you any good in the here and now. Sometimes God will reveal something to you, but later in the future, when the context has changed. Think about the parable I just gave on to you of that woman that found out her father was reprobate. When she was 15, the context was she was a teenager living at home with her parents, finishing high school. In that context, it was not beneficial for her to realize that her father is a reprobate. What would she have done? Run away from home? Getting away with a boyfriend who probably would have abused her, or joining some cult? No. It was hidden from her till after she turned 22. Because then the context changed and the father didn't have such a huge impact on her anymore. So now, because she now was more emotionally mature, she could handle the fact that her father is a reprobate. And that is why you should never go to fortune tellers. Because the demons will inform you, but the demons know very well that you may not be able to process well what you're being told. So, when you go to fortune tellers, the demons will inform you. But while informing you, the demons already pushing you in a direction, because you will act based on what you've heard. And if you're not able to process effectively what you've heard, then the direction you will head in based on that knowledge will always be wrong. So let me give an illustration because I don't want you to gaze and wonder what I've just explained here. Look, let's say that you have Mary. She goes to a fortune teller because she wants to know things about some of her friends. She doesn't want to hang around people who are of a bad influence. So she goes to a fortune teller, and the demon inside the fortune teller, who has already been informed by other demons that she's coming, tells her through the fortune teller. Mary doesn't know it's a demon speaking to her through that individual. The demon tells her, Mary, you have this friend called Jennifer. She is sleeping around with Jeffrey. And this Jeffrey has no intention of staying with her. So you know what? It's better to cut ties with this Jennifer, because this Jennifer is only going to cause you trouble. Because she will begin to complain about that Jeffrey not wanting to commit to her and all of that, but she's not willing to commit either. So Mary hears this, and then she cuts ties with this Jennifer. 2 weeks later, this Jennifer hears about a scholarship towards Australia. And this Jennifer remembered that Mary always wanted to go to Australia. So Jennifer thought, let me go to Facebook to tell Marie this. She's going to find Mary anywhere. And then she realized, what I do wrong. Because Jennifer, even though Jennifer was messed up indeed, factually what the demon said there was true. Jennifer was messed up, but Jennifer nevertheless had a good heart towards Mary. And the demons also saw that soon this option for scholarship in Australia would become available to Mary. But it would be through this Jennifer that she would know about this and that she would be able to take this opportunity. So this Mary went to the fortune teller to be informed. And she was informed, but she couldn't process clearly the information. She couldn't process the information clearly. So what happened was that the demon told her facts that were true, and she found out that it was true. She was sleeping around with Jeffrey and all that, so she got her off. But by cutting her off, she also closed the door on her blessing that was about to come just a week later. You see how those demons operate? But if this Mary would have relied on the Holy Spirit would have kept hidden from her what this Jennifer was doing. Not because it wouldn't affect her, because Jennifer would indeed begin to complain about Jeffrey and all of that. And so this Jennifer was toxic indeed, but the Holy Spirit knows the context. The context is Mary wants to move on, but she still has to relate to other people in here and now. And this Jennifer has a good heart towards her. So the Spirit sees when this Jennifer finds out an option for Mary, no matter how messed up she is, she will inform Mary about it and she will push Mary to take it. So the Spirit's going to keep hidden how messed up Jennifer is, so that Mary will be willing to receive from Jennifer when the blessing comes. So the Spirit, knowing the context, will not inform Mary about Jennifer. Indeed, Jennifer is toxic, and you shouldn't want to have toxic people close to you. But the Holy Spirit sees the bigger picture. And let's say that the Holy Spirit doesn't inform Mary. And indeed, she's informed about Australia, and she makes applications. And then Jennifer begins to talk a lot about Jeffrey and all of that. And then Mary gets tired. And soon Mary flies to Australia. She takes a scholarship, and while being in Australia, she loses contact with Jennifer and she meets new people. What happened here? She is now in Australia. She has moved on. Jennifer has not moved on yet. She will later on. But Mary is not stuck now. Because if the Holy Spirit would have informed her, this Jennifer, she's toxic, she would have cut Jennifer off and she would have lost the opportunities that were to come. That's why when the Holy Spirit keeps things hidden from you, trust Him. There were things I wanted to know, but the Holy Spirit did not reveal it unto me. And later I understood why He didn't do it. This YouTube channel being one of them. If the Holy Spirit told me at age 22, you're going to start a YouTube channel, it's going to become a very big channel, but it's also going to attract a lot of attacks on your life. You're going to get a lot of haters, and there are going to be some financial depressions between 2014 and 2016. If the Holy Spirit would have told me all of that when I was, for example, 18 years old, how would it have affected me? I would have thought, you know what, I'm going to do it differently. Then I wouldn't have to endure all of those things. And if that would have happened, I would have hindered the blessing from reaching you who's watching this. So, it's for the good of the many and the good of me that the Holy Spirit kept things hidden from me. That's why you need to learn to walk by faith. Some people, the Lord will tolerate them around you for your benefit, and then He Himself will snatch them away from you. Okay, maybe snatch away is a bit harsh, a bit hard expression, but I mean it's the Spirit will cut ties and remove them from you. Some folks want to take matters in their own hands. They want the validation of managing themselves. That's the pride of life. The Holy Spirit doesn't want you to have that. The Holy Spirit wants you to rely on Him. Well, that's it for now. Keep agreeing with Christ and be at peace.